Well, hello, friends, and thank you very much for all tuning in. Welcome back. Say, I got a little card. My daughter is in town. She brought a little card with her. It says, "Yay, you!" Little award, kind of little ribbon on here. What's all this about? It says, "Thrilled for you. Congratulations. Congrats on 1 million views. Love you, Amelia." Well, isn't that nice? Very sweet. Thank you, Amelia. And next we got in the mail, we got this record. And this is the UK first pressing, first edition on the orange RCA label. Right from Great Britain. I bought it from a guy in Great Britain. He sent it to me. It took about a month to get here. I don't know what kind of airmail they have in Great Britain, but they got must be one of those. Lindbergh must have brought it over on his little one-engine plane, I guess. But anyway, on his way back. Anyway, why did I get this? Yeah, you're wondering that. Why? What's going on? Well, here's the deal. It's a shootout. Because when I did my video about all the David Bowie records that I have, I have almost every one of them is on a Japan first edition for original pressing because they sound so fantastic. And I got a few. There's a few folks, they're saying the poor Japanese records, they only get in the second generation tape. They don't got the original master, like the folks in Great Britain do. They're the only ones that have the original master tape. And those Japanese poor, they don't know how to master records properly, and they're always the highs are so bright, and there's no bass on them, and because they like all those Chinese music or Japanese music on their records, and they just don't sound good. So you need to get the original pressing from the original country. That's always going to have the best fidelity. Super high res UK first press. All the way, Ron. Come on, you know better. This is the way to go right here. And then I had people say, "Ron, what's better? Is it the UK original press better? Or the original Japan press? Is that one better?" Well, here's one. And here's the other. Right? It's a shootout. Which one's better? This is very good. This one's better. Yeah. This one, it sounds more like a modern analog productions reissue pressing. And what helps a little bit with that is the JVC Super Vinyl. The backgrounds are quieter. But you have just more fidelity on this record here. Just the simplest way to put it. When he's striking the cymbal, you can hear the cymbal. It dropped my attention to the cymbal on this record. I missed it on this one, but when he struck the cymbal, I said, "Wow, listen to that." That's what dropped my attention to it on this record. And David's voice is a lot clearer. It's got sharper edges on the transients, that type of thing. You really notice it. It's just overall better sounding record. It's a better record. But I was kind of worried at first. I put this on. I'm like, "Wow, this is great. Listen to that bass on there. Wow." And if anything, this one's a little bit brighter than this one. This one is cleaner sounding. It's like when you have that record, and then you buy the Analog Productions pressing, and you compare the two of them. You say, "Yeah, I hear that it's cleaner. I can hear deeper into the music. It's not quite as bright. It's just got that luxurious sound of a good quality analog, audiophile type pressing." Yeah, this one here it's really good. But I went back and forth quite a few times. At first I started listening to Future Legend, and then I went over to Rock and Roll with Me, and then I settled on We Are the Dead. And yeah, that one I really liked. I went back and forth. I'd listen to the whole song. I listened to it on this record, then on this one. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just really picking up on all the differences, all of it was, how it sounded. And the more I played it, the more evident this was sounding better and better all the time. So I've been vindicated, yes. The Japanese original pressings. Now don't make the mistake that some people do with these Japanese records. Because, what's going on with the OB? Oh, it's got a little, it's stuck right here. Okay, there you go. Don't make the mistake that some people make with these Japanese records now. Because it would be the same mistake as if you got the original 1972 press of a band that you really like, and then you got the third or fourth, the second or third reissue of the record, pressed in the same country. Let's say you got, there's an original Alice Cooper record, $1 Billion Babies, let's say. And then you got the Green Wonder Brother label. And then you skipped up the Palm Tree and you went down and you got the third, fourth label down the road there. And you bought that one in, say, 1985 or something. And you compared both those records. Well, I'll tell you what you're going to notice. You're going to say, wow, this reissue is bass shy. And the highs are missing. It really doesn't have any high frequency hardly at all. It's like someone threw a blanket over the speaker. So the problem is the Japanese reissues sound so good. People get them and they think, yeah, this is a Japanese record. These sound great. Well, let's compare it to my original UK press. And you go, well, hang on a minute now. These Japanese records, they're a little bit bass shy. And the highs actually seem a little bit bright. Because they still have a lot of fidelity on the record. So they seem a little bit bright compared to my original pressing. Yeah, they do. They honestly do sound like that. So be very careful about if you're getting an original pressing or not. Because that's very important. It doesn't matter what country it is. And these are phenomenal. They just do such a super job of their mastering. That's why they sound better. They might have the second tape, but I'll tell you what, when you've got a master tape, even if it's a second, even if it's a copy of that master tape, those tapes have phenomenal sound on those tapes. They can't get the sound off that tape on the record. It's hard to do, especially when you're making a mother and a father, and then you're making plates and you're pressing off all that stuff and all those steps they've got in there. That's why that one step, or the UHQR, sound so much better. Or if you can get it on a 45 RPM and you can up the fidelity too that way. But, yeah, this record sounds great. Original pressings versus reissues. Got another shootout. Frank Zappa. Apostrophe. And this is my original. Well, I bought it just here a few years back when I did the purge. I went and got me one in the shrink, mint in the shrink, hardly ever been played. It was like brand new. I got the record because the one I had was well played. On the discreet label, this is made by Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers, they make good sounding records. And this is all you know that have this record. This is a great sounding record. This record always had a lot of fidelity on it to start with. It always did. But when I found out that they had been reissued and they were pressed in Palace, Germany, and they're supposed to be audiophile, that's what it says right on here, Palace audiophile quality, 180 gram vinyl, pressed in Germany. And they're on the, one side's got the Barking Pumpkin label and the other side's got the Zappa label. Those were the reissue labels that when Zappa took over. Those were his reissue labels when he got off of Bazaar and Reprise and that. So now, Bernie Grundman. Yeah. Bernie Grundman remastered this, had the original master tape, and he remastered it, and they took and they pressed it at Palace, Germany. Which, why? What's the point? I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. It's a Warner Brother USA tape. Now you did something really good. You sent it over to Bernie Grundman. Or you could have sent it over to Kevin Gray. Or you could have sent it up there to New York to Sterling Sound. Any of those places, you know, I have a limited knowledge of this, but I know those three places make great analog records. So we got Bernie. He's no slouch. We all love Bernie Grundman. And then they took all that and they sent it over to Palace, Germany. What's with this, you know, Warner, Brother, Rhino, Friday Music? They're all kind of had an association somehow. And why all of a sudden they got to go to Palace, Germany to get their records pressed? Why do they hate Analog Productions? You know, I know they had a falling out with RTI, but man, just think if they had taken that tape now and sent it over to Quality Records, and they would have got those really nice jackets, you know, that from California, from the City of Industry over there, we would have had just a phenomenal product. But anyway, this is what we have. You know, we're not in charge of that stuff, but I want to let people know if someone's watching that is in charge of any of that, I would have really liked that better. You know why? Look what I got. I got this cheesy little thin outer sleeve. Audiophile quality. Well, audiophiles, we're record collectors. We don't like this cheesy. This is not audiophile quality right here. No, this is not. This is not collectible. This is not a collector's item when you go and make stuff like this. This is what people don't like about the quality, about the Friday Music stuff that's coming out. Yeah, you want to charge $30 for a record, and you only want to spend, 25 cents on the cover. Well, Ron, okay, you got that off your chest. Now, what about the record? How does it sound? Well, like I said before, this is a great sounding record right here. Bernie had his work cut out for him. I don't know who mastered this. I didn't do any research to find out who mastered this at the first, whoever did this for Warner Brother. But everybody knows they did a knockout job. Yeah, you all know. Bernie's going to win. But it's not by, phenomenal margin. Not like a lot of those records that, Quality Records gets a hold of and they remaster them. Because, like I said, this was always so good to start with. But the same thing holds true that was true for this. It's the same type of thing what's done. This record sounds good, but they've taken off the brightness, and now we have an audiophile sound to it, a quality, more detail, just a better sounding record. Okay. And I would have to say the differences between these two and the differences between the David Bowie record, it's not as dramatic on here. It's not. This is better. Yes. Better sounding, a little more detail. Frank's voice really comes through good. And the transients, the leading edges, that higher frequency stuff, it's better on this. Because it's those higher frequencies that's harder to track. That's why they wouldn't always put it on those earlier records, because, like for instance, people want to play it on a Crosley turntable. Well, it's not going. Those high frequencies are not going to track on a Crosley, or the real bottom big bass. The needle's just going to jump right out of the groove. So they tried to make these records so everybody can play it on their turntable. And we've got a little audiophile stuff on here. Yeah, it's not going to track right on everybody's turntable, but I think it should. Good record, really love it, and I've really been listening to a lot of that Patricia Barber nightclub record that I have, made in 2000 on the Premonition label. That's that record's 20 years old now. I've had it for about 20 years, And I haven't hardly been playing a lot of different other records because, I just got my cartridge retipped with a microline stylus on it now, on that boron cantilever. Now originally the shelter comes with an elliptical, and my micro Benz glider that I had before, that also had an elliptical. But I had a Signet OC9, and that had the microline. And I had 3 of those. I always loved that Signet cartridge. They just a super tracker. Well, guess what? Now I've got the Shelter super tracker, because I always had semblance on my record, on that Patricia Barber record, as well as the Tina Tinkerham record. Their S's, yeah, they were. That Tina Tinkerham, a twist in my sobriety, a twist. Yeah, she was twisting all those S's, and I always thought it was something to do with my VTA or that type of thing that would eliminate that, but it's not. It's the ability of your cartridge, of your stylus, to track it. That's what causes the semblance. That's what you're going to find out when your stylus is worn. You're going to hear that semblance. It's going to be more pronounced because your stylus is having trouble tracking. That's going to tell you when you need to get your stylus fixed. And when I started playing a couple of these newer records with a lot of high frequencies on it, I really could tell at that point, yeah, I needed to get my stylus fixed. And it's working wonderfully. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Bye for now.